Imagine this. It's freezing outside, maybe even snowing, and suddenly the lights go out, the TV falls silent, the radiator stops working, and it stays that way. That is the reality today for over 1 million Ukrainians after another huge Russian attack on their energy grid plunged large parts of the country into darkness. Another escalation Moscow claims is a response to Western-supplied missiles hitting Russia. Ukraine's critical infrastructure is one of Vladimir Putin's favorite targets, especially in winter. But today he went further, threatening to strike government buildings in the capital, Kyiv, something that, until now, has never happened. An attempted show of strength as the Russian economy shows increasing signs of weakness. I'm Nicole Fröhlich in Berlin, and this is The Day.
We do not exclude the use of oreshnik against the military industry facilities, or the decision-making center.
The statements, this blackmail is the expansion of war and the threat of expansion of war.
Blackout is very horrible and scary. It's hard to work.
The currency is weak. It will be easier for the Russian government to decrease the deficit, the shortage of the budget.
Welcome to the show. We start the day with threats and praise from Vladimir Putin. Speaking at a security conference in Kazakstan, the Russian president said he did not rule out targeting government buildings in Kyiv with Moscow's new hypersonic missile. And while he's waiting for Donald Trump to move back into the White House, he's making sure to send messages in a language he knows lands well with the president-elect. Praise. At the event, he called Trump a smart person, capable of finding solutions. Remember, Trump promised to end the war in Ukraine on day one, and many expect him to push Kyiv to give in to Russia's demands. Now, those comments followed another major Russian aerial attack on Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Ukraine says Moscow fired nearly 200 missiles and drones during the barrage, leaving more than 1 million households without power.
Lviv, powered by generators after Russia struck key energy infrastructure, leaving 1 million residents in western Ukraine without power. While a generator keeps things running at this bar, there are concerns Moscow will once again ramp up attacks on key facilities as the winter sets in.
I don't think there will be any blackouts, but we'll see. Life is complicated. Anything could happen. I hope there won't be a situation like in previous years when power was out for a very long time. I think it'll be easier now.
Power and water cuts also hit other parts of Ukraine. The assault also targeted Odessa, damaging several residential buildings.
Debris was falling on my head, but I threw it all on the floor. One brick even hit me directly in the face.
All this, the Kremlin says, is retaliation after Ukraine hit targets inside Russian territory with US and UK-made long-range missiles. President Vladimir Putin is now threatening to launch new hypersonic missiles at Kyiv and elsewhere in Ukraine.
For significant targets, we will use those means that are at our disposal. We do not rule out the use of oreshnik missiles against the military, military-industrial facilities, or decision-making centers, including in Kyiv.
Kyiv is urging the international community to react to the threats.
And we expect those countries that have urged everyone to avert expanding of the war to react to the statements voiced by Putin today. It is very important if we treat it fairly. These are the statements. This blackmail is the expansion of war and the threat of expansion of war, unacceptable one.
Ukraine says it's all the more reason for allies to ensure faster military aid.
Meanwhile, Russia's central bank is considering raising interest rates as the ruble falls to its lowest level since the start of the war in Ukraine. The currency has dropped sharply since the U.S. imposed sanctions on a string of Russian banks involved in foreign trade. But President Vladimir Putin says there's no reason to panic.
The ruble has fallen to its lowest value against the dollar since the invasion of Ukraine began in 2022. But the slide will bring some benefits to the government.
If the currency is weak, it will be easier for the Russian government to decrease the deficit, the shortage of the budget, because the payments within Russia would be in weak rubles, and whatever payments come from Russian exports will be in hard currency. And this is a natural tool for improving the shape of the budget.
At a press conference, President Putin appeared relaxed about the ruble. There are many factors of a seasonal nature. So in general, in my opinion, the situation is under control, and there's absolutely no grounds for panic. Well, how can I say it? But the weakening currency is threatening to erode the purchasing power of the Russian people. It would further increase the cost of imported goods and could flare up already runaway inflation. The fall follows fresh US sanctions on Gazprom Bank, a key conduit for Russia's energy revenues. That'll make payments more complicated for European nations still buying fossil fuels from Russia.
And I think that some of European countries are going to suffer because they will have to find a new chains of payment to Gazprom or to Russian oil companies for deliveries of refined petroleum products, natural gas. Turkey and Hungary are already complaining, and they have admitted that they are looking for some bypasses to organize the payments to Russia.
Russia's central bank now says it's pausing foreign currency purchases in order to ease pressure on financial markets.